Hi, this is TJ Welch, and this is local Boston rock and roll television, Sonic Lobotomy. And at this moment, I'd like to introduce you all to someone who was kind of behind the scenes for maybe the last 25 or so shows that we've done, our sound man, Mr. Mayhem.
Howdy.
He's been around town for many, many years. He knows his stuff inside out, upside down, knows how to make a band sound good, and we're all very thankful to have him on the crew of this show.
I don't know that much. I fake a lot of it. You know, from 1978 to 81, I was mixing sound without even knowing how to use a compressor. You know, I knew how to use an EQ, but it was around 81 I started catching on to how a compressor works. Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Very useful. You know.
Well, so you didn't, when you first started out, no one said, "Hey, Mark, this is a compressor. You use it to
I
switch the
saw
vocals."
it, you know,
Yeah,
but
we
no
don't
one was
need that.
helping. You know, I didn't go to school like most sound guys. I just kind of, you know, jumped in at it. Where
How'd you get into it?
a friend of mine said, a guy I met, you know, said, "Hey, come check out this band I got in. You know, come check us out. We're playing at the Beacon Hill Pub." So I went there, and this was like 1978, and they were doing like 3 sets of covers. And after the first set, they said, "So what'd you think?" I said, "Great, you know, except I think this could be a little softer, and that could be a little louder, and you should cut a little low mid on this, and blah blah blah." They said, "Well, why don't you come on up and turn the knobs yourselves? I'll talk to the guys in the band." And you know, so it was one of those things where you just, you know, the room was small enough so you didn't really need to mic anything except the vocals and maybe a kick drum, and you know, they had an overhead mic that you didn't really need, you know, but you know, so I learned about EQing that, you know, because like the overhead mic, it picks up a lot of cymbals, and you didn't really need any more cymbals in the room because they ended up being the loudest thing because the vocal mics pick up the cymbals. So
Yeah.
okay, so right, well the drummer sang too, so we didn't need the overhead mic in the smaller clubs, but we did need the kick drum mic for that oomph, you know.
Yeah.
And the bass amp, well, you know, if it's a small bass amp, you got to help it out a little bit. If it's a big one, it's fine, just turn it up a little bit, you know, depending on the size of the room, you know. And I slowly started, you know, I started on this huge 7-channel mixing board, you know, back in, it was like probably from early 70s, you know. It was bigger than today's 16-channel mixing board, and it was only 7 channels because it had, you know, EQ in it, and it had power amps, so you just plug it right into your speakers, you know. And
No, I mean, but before that, 78, what were you, 18 years old or something? Were
78,
you a
I was 20.
musician? You were 20, okay.
Yeah.
Were you a
Before
musician?
that, I was a
Now,
musician,
you
yeah.
could play anything. I've seen you on keys, guitar,
I
bass.
was lucky enough to be born into a household that had a piano. You know, my mom was a singer, and she was on stage singing while she was pregnant with me. So she was singing in the smoke-filled blues jazz clubs, you know. So I was smoking before I was born. You know, I was on stage before I was born. Like, it's natural. I belong on stage, you know.
Yeah.
I remember being carried after I was born. I remember being carried in. See, that's your mommy on stage, you know. And I remember the PA sounded horrible. It was like, you know, those columns of like 3 12-inch speakers with no tweeters, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like from within the womb, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people think I'm crazy, but I actually remember.
So the rest of your life, you
Being in
try
the
to
room.
make PA sound better.
Yeah,
Bands sound better.
it's like, you know, my ears tell me what to try and do, and you know, I have not been able to keep up with the technology. I'm still an old analog guy, you know.
Yeah.
The closest I come to digital might be like my reverb unit and my tap delay unit, but I've still got, you know, a good old analog board and you know, well, a newer one, but you know.
Well, you got good ears, and you know, that's more important
I
than
love
all the
turning
gear.
knobs, you know. I like to play. People ask me, which side would you rather be on? Would you rather play? Would you rather mix? So I like to try and keep my hand in all of it, you know. I like to mix for bands. I like to play once in a while, you know, as long as I can jam, you know, once every couple of weeks, you know, play a little here and there.
Now, you've been in various bands over the years.
Yeah,
Why don't we talk about some of
Phantoms,
those bands?
Transplants, Organ Donors, Diabolics.
Diabolics, yeah.
No, I played drums in Diabolics and Organ Donors. I played bass in the Phantoms and the Gorehounds and Transplants, and let's see, well, a bunch of others. Well, the first band was keyboards. The first instrument was piano.
Yeah.
But then I got a little Farfisa, Oregon, and I hooked up with Orchrist, a band from Manchester, Mass, called Orchrist. Played a lot of stuff we made up ourselves. A lot of, you know, we just jammed, came up with our own stuff. So it was sort of a jam band. And then one of the things I came up with turned into a song, and I recorded that. It's a song I called North Shore. It's on my CD. It's the Markie Mayhem CD.
Yeah,
I
you've
put it out
got
in
your own
09.
CD out. Yeah.
Yeah, I put it out in '09, back when I had my near-death experience from the cancer,
Yeah.
which is actually back again. Only it's in a different spot now, a whole bunch of spots. But when I almost died back there, I thought, oh, you know what? I'm just going to compile some cassettes of my songs and put them on a CD. And regardless of what it sounds like, and it's tough for me because being a sound guy, it's like none of them pass my muster for being on something that I want to put my name on,
Yeah.
But I had to do it because it's like, well, I could die tomorrow, so let me just get my CD out there.
How does one get a hold of your music? We got to figure out a way to get out on the web.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to just, I don't know, send a check for $10 to.
To Mark Mayhem. We'll get it on the web somehow. We got to get a MySpace page and share that with the
Come
world.
to my benefit at the Midway on
I don't know if we'll have
March
this edited
13th.
by then. I'm not sure if we'll have
this
this edited by then.
That's
Yeah.
right. All right.
But I mean, there is going to be a benefit March 13 at the Midway, and lots of great bands that Mark's befriended over the ages of playing that one to raise some money
we can figure
for
out how to
Mark.
get something to you. You can email me at markiemayhem@ymail.com.
MarkieMayhem@ymail.com.
Yeah,
All right.
MarkyMayhem.
Now, Mark,
Ymail.
you've been behind the board for some great bands in the past. You mentioned Nirvana.
Over the years.
Let's talk about some of your experiences of mixing bands live in Boston and some of the standout moments for you.
I was a house engineer at a little dive called Green Street Station in Jamaica Plain that hasn't been there for a long time. But I was there with a little time off somewhere in the middle. I was there from 86 to 90. Somewhere in the middle, I went to Gino's in Portland for like 6 months because they tried to steal me away, promising me more money, weren't able to pay it. So I went back to Green Street. I used to live upstairs from the place.
Yeah.
Which was crazy, Oh my God.
Those are the days. Those are the crazy
Upstairs
days.
from a nightclub. I'd come down one day, pick up the flyer. Who do we have tonight? Nirvana. Sounds like a Robert Plant tribute band. I was wrong.
So you did sound for Nirvana. That must
It was their first tour. They were just touring, just another grunge band tour in the U.S. for their first tour. This is before they got Dave Grohl on drums. Apparently, he was their second drummer.
Yeah.
But there's Kurt, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything about him. And there's this guy with blonde hair in his face, and he wants to have his amp really loud. And I said, listen, I understand, what it's like to, have to turn your amp up to get that sound, but this club is kind of short this way and wide that way. How about if I get you to turn it around and I'll put a mic back there, so the people in front.
And
I got Kurt to turn his amp around.
Oh, jeez, that's an achievement.
Neither one of us knowing who the other was. He just knew I was the house engineer.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for the bands that played there because we didn't have anything to give him as in way of monitors, It's like the club didn't provide him, It's like, well, I brought something in you can use for a monitor. Here you go. This is all I can give you,
What other bands aside from Nirvana stand
They
out
Might
with
Be
you?
Giants,
Oh, yeah.
Tornado Brothers, the Blackjacks.
Yeah, you were on the local scene in the 80s.
Yeah, the Royal Pimps.
Yeah.
I actually mixed a few gigs for Royal Pimps. Kill Slug, actually, I remember when they
When they played this show, yeah, that was an
this
interesting one.
But
yeah.
no, but way before. This one was a reunion for them, like 20-year reunion. Way back.
Back in the
when they
80s,
were
you
first.
did Kill Slug, yeah.
I mixed them downstairs at Celebration, across the street from the Rat.
Jeez.
They were opening for, I can't remember, some big metal band, and Trouble or something like that. I don't know. And they. And the smoke machine, just totally filled the place. And they come on, and half the crowd did not know what to make of them.
Still don't.
Still don't.
So what about your favorite Sonic Lobotomy episode so far? You've done about 25 of them with me.
Well, I think one of the ones that came out sounding really good was Death and Taxes.
Yeah, that was my favorite probably too.
That sounded great.
It just-
They were easy
yeah.
to mix because they weren't too loud, and there was only 3 of them, and they sounded great. And it's like, okay, I got that CD. When I got the DVD at home, I was like, wow, this, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
Once in a while though, you get something where, maybe accidentally. I've experimented with miking the bass amp and taking the direct line off the bass. And sometimes we make the mistake of taking the direct line off the bass, and the guy just happens to have cheap pickups, and it just sounds like trash.
Yeah.
We've had an episode or two like that.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, oh my God, I should have mic'd
It's funny.
it.
We try to get as much as we can get done within a limited amount of time, and we do
Yeah.
a respectable
We make it
job
happen.
on it. We got no budget here on this show, and somehow this is like 40 episodes we've done so far.
I have not been here since the beginning, but ever since the Ramoniacs.
Yeah,
well,
which
there
was
only a
episode
couple
12 or so. Yeah.
I had to miss one or two when I was in the hospital with the cancer, which is going
What-
to probably happen again.
Yeah. How you feeling today?
Luckily, thanks to the good new pain medication, I'm able to be here.
Yeah.
If I did not see the doctor yesterday and go to the pharmacy yesterday, I wouldn't be able to be here right now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the pain. The cancer is just trying to take over my back, So we'll see what happens. By the time this airs, I will probably be undergoing chemotherapy and radiation and all that. I might hopefully be all through with it by then.
Well, we're all pulling for you. We're all praying for
We'll
you.
do it before and after. You see me with no hair later.
Yeah.
Last time I got through, lucky I squeaked through last time.
Yeah.
They gave me 2 different angles of radiation and 2 different chemotherapies, and they knocked it out. And it was gone. And that's not back. Now I got different cancer sites, But hopefully we'll get through it. I want to keep mixing for bands. I want to keep playing.
Yeah. What's your philosophy on life at this point?
Try to find the right balance between having fun and being responsible.
Yeah.
If you're going to be late, try to call them, let them know you're going to be late. Don't blow people off. If someone's counting on you, be there. I always try to. I feel really bad if I have to cancel. Like that morning that I had to go to the hospital, I had to call. It was the morning of a Sonic Lobotomy episode. That evening, I had to call. I had to call this guy and
that's
say,
all
"I'm
right,
sorry,
Mark.
I can't make it."
You're a professional. You're a professional.
Yeah, that's
through and through.
That's how you keep at it. And
Do you want to give a shout out to anyone special?
there's
People
too many
who've helped
people
you?
to try and think of to remember. I want to say hi to everybody that remembers me and that I should say hi to. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. And just keep rocking, right?
Yeah, man. Markie Mayhem, yahoo.com.
All right.
ymail.com.
Markie Mayhem, M-A-R-K-I-E.
No, M-A-R-K-Y.
M-A-R-K-Y. I've been misspelling your name on the credits all these years.
M-A-R-K-Y.
M-A-R-K-Y Mayhem.
M-A-Y-H-E-M at ymail.com.
At ymail.com. All right, Mark, thanks a lot for
Thanks,
coming on the
TJ.
show.
My pleasure.
Yeah. All right, let's get the rock going.